Hey, Truth Seeker, welcome back. Zach here. It's December 17th, 2015. In the mainstream media today, major headlines were made about President Obama meeting with former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg to discuss gun control. If you're not aware, Michael Bloomberg is the head of the national gun lobby known as Everytown for Gun Safety, which he established in 2006. We'll talk more about this lobby. We're going to talk about a lot of information in this post. I want to begin right here, Truth Seeker, and the significance of why Obama meeting with Bloomberg today, December 17th, matters. If you're not aware, the mainstream media and our government behaves based on the rules of numerology. This is a secret kept from we the people. The only reason I'm aware of this is from researching what our elected officials are doing for so long, and slowly over time recognizing patterns that I have further and further exposed. If you are a skeptic of what I just said, the proof of what I am saying is in the many videos I have worked very hard and all the research I have put out to back up my points. I have shown how the establishment of this nation up to the present has been waged by the numbers. So this morning when I woke up, the headline was this very interesting photo of Obama looking down with fingers to his head. And when I went to the top stories, I noticed at the top of the ticker was Obama prepares to act on guns with a 44 next to it. In my video that I made on December 7th, I talked about how today had 44 numerology, which could be relevant for President Obama. 44. Obama's the 44th president. He ran on hope, a word with gematria 44. If you're new here, I talk a lot about gematria, the practice of coding numbers and words. There are multiple methods. This is a very straightforward method. Alphabetic order. H is the 8th letter, O is the 15th, P is the 16th, E is the 5th. Added up, 44. Just like the word kill, just like today's date numerology. And unfortunately for President Obama, in many presidential deaths, the number 44 has very much been involved, including the last president to die in office, John F. Kennedy, the 44th term president. We'll talk more about it in a little bit. So with regards to 44, he met with Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg. Bloomberg, a name with 44 gematria. Again, this comes 10 days after Pearl Harbor Day. All of these numbers share relationships. When you write out 44, it sums to 144. When you write out 10 days later, December 7th to December 17th, it sums to 144. Pearl Harbor Day itself happens to have this gematria of 144. 44 and 144, numbers that very much show up around political assassinations in this nation and abroad. JFK died on the first day of Sagittarius, a date with 144 gematria. His brother, RFK, would die at 1:44 in the morning. Lincoln dreamed on April 4th, which has gematria of 144, that he would be shot and killed, only to be shot 10 days later, April 14th. Whole lot more examples, Truth Seeker. The first president also died on April 4th, William Henry Harrison. So anyhow, today, 44 numerology, very relevant to Bloomberg, very relevant to the president, very relevant to the fate of many deceased presidents. So Truth Seeker, I've been trying to poke a hole in this theory about Obama and 44, and today I had a revelation. Obama's not really the 44th president, he's really the 43rd man to be president. There have only been 43 different men, and there's a reason he's said to be the 44th. This is the reason. In history, Grover Cleveland was the 22nd president, interrupted by Benjamin Harrison, only to be elected again as the 24th president. See, Grover Cleveland served 2 terms, but they were separated. Every other president who served 2 terms, starting with George Washington, then Thomas Jefferson, they were just counted as one single president. George Washington, the first president, served 2 terms. John Adams served 3, or just 1 term, the 3rd term. Then Thomas Jefferson, the third president, served the fourth and fifth term. Madison, the sixth and seventh. You see? But because Cleveland was separated, they call him 22 and 24, which has forever pushed the count up by one. I want to point out something, Truth Seeker. The first ever president to die in office, William Henry Harrison, the ninth president, died 1 month into his term on 4/4, April 4th, just like the date Martin Luther King died on. He was the first Whig president, the ninth. The next president to die in office will be the ninth president to die in office. The last was JFK, the 35th term president. The word Catholic equals 35. JFK, the only Catholic president. He was also the 44th term president, you see. Anyhow, realizing that Obama's the 43rd man to be president, even though he is numbered 44, I find something very interesting here, Truth Seeker. When I think about the number 43 in this study, I think of the Civil War. The Civil War, which began in 1861 in Charleston. The number 43, very central. Look at this. The date Obama was elected president, November 4th, 2008, a date with 43 numerology. He gave his acceptance speech in Grant Park, Illinois, where Lincoln's from, land of Lincoln. Lincoln born on the 43rd day of the year. Grant Park equals 43. Civil War has gematria 43. The first shots in the Civil War were fired in Charleston, having gematria of 43. They say the Civil War was a massacre. Massacre has gematria of 43. What's interesting is how when you write out 43, it sums to 59, a number coded over black Americans all throughout history. Slave and Negro equal 59. Motown Records came out in 59. Blues equals 59. Think about how the 43rd man to be president is the first black president, or once upon a time would have been called Negro. NAACP still embraces that word, Negro. Words with 59 gematria, Truth Seeker. I find this very interesting. This revelation didn't come on me until today. I was trying to figure out a hole and why Obama might not be as connected to 44 as I thought. And then I find this, which I find very interesting. Were you aware of that? That he's really the 43rd man? Little known history facts. From here, Truth Seeker, I want to do a major transition. I want to watch Obama talking about mass shootings in the time of his presidency. We're going to break this down each instance they bring up. So we're going to take our time. They go through a lot of them here, and I have something to say about each one. Notice that it begins with the most recent mass shooting in our minds, the one in San Bernardino, December 2nd, 2015. The one where earlier in the day they said it was athletic white males who were the suspects, 3 of them. And then by day's end, it was a Middle Eastern married couple, one of which worked at the San Bernardino Public Health Department and supposedly shot up his work party. Very doubtful story, very ridiculous story, very rare story, not something that cries for a federal response, law changes. It's just propaganda, and I'm going to show you how coded this propaganda has been throughout history. By the end of this, you'll see what kind of man Michael Bloomberg really is. These people don't have anyone's best interest at heart. It's not about saving lives. It's about tyranny. So here we go, Truth Seeker.
Shootings in this country that has no parallel anywhere else in the world. And there's some steps we could take, not to eliminate every one of these mass shootings, but to improve the odds that they don't happen. I've had to make statements like this too many times. Communities have had to endure tragedies like this too many times. We come together like this.
Truth Seeker, look at this date. June 18th, 2015. The first clip they put up here. 6 plus 18 is 24. Plus 20 more is 44. Plus 15 is 59. This is a fair way to get a date numerology. That number 59 that we just talked about. What you need to know about this number as well, because we're going to talk more about it, is that kill in Jewish gematria equals 59. Kill in simple English gematria sums to 44. Obama's the 44th president. They had him going before the nation on a date with 59 numerology, talking about one of these mass shooting killing stories. We're talking about how our government wages propaganda by numerology that is coded as I'm revealing. Whole lot more to come.
Too many times. We come together filled with sorrow for the 13 Americans that we have lost, with gratitude for the lives.
So here he's talking about Fort Hood, Truth Seeker. He's talking about Fort Hood. This is what I need to show you about Fort Hood. There's been 2 mass shootings at Fort Hood now. The first came November 5th, 2009. Notice that Fort Hood is in Killeen, Texas, which to date has the biggest mass shooting incident at a Luby's restaurant. Another hoax by the numbers. If you haven't seen my recent video on the San Ysidro McDonald's massacre of '84, shortly after the death of Ray Kroc, the man who made McDonald's huge, please check out that video. More history that I have shown is hoaxalicious and coded by the numbers. Anyhow, Fort Hood has some serious gematria. Fort Hood in Pythagorean gematria sums to 47, a very important number to the Masons and Zionists who control our media, who control our government, who control our police, and who code by these numbers. The Zionist nation Israel was established in the year 47 with a 33-member vote. The words obey, authority, mafia, judge, gavel, all words with 47 gematria. Fort Hood also happens to have gematria of 101, kind of like reminding you of a textbook. The word assassin also equals 101. This was a soldier assassinating fellow soldiers. Notice that fort also happens to be a word with 59 gematria, this kill number. Forts, usually associated with militaries that do killing. Hood has gematria of 42. The next Fort Hood shooting in history would be on April 2nd. Freemason equals 42. Anyhow, the date November 5th, look at the 115 sequence. Killing in Jewish gematria equals 115. This is in Killeen, Texas, which sounds a lot like killing, numbers aside. Killeen, Texas has gematria of 137, just like Washington, D.C. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Michael Bloomberg's gun lobby says that since Sandy Hook, there have been 1.37 school shootings a week. 1.37, the 33rd prime. Federal equals 33. Washington, D.C., the headquarters of the federal government. No coincidence. Notice also this gematria of 74. This is a very special number. We'll talk more about it later in this video. Just know it's important to the Freemasons. It's the reflection of 47. The shooter in 2009, his first name was Nadal, gematria of 74. They blamed it on jihadism. Look at what time they said the shooting ended, 1:44 p.m. This number associated with assassination. Killer in Jewish gematria equals 144. Military 44, kill 44. When you write out 44, 144. The 2014 Hood shooting blamed on Lopez, another 74 gematria. They said he was a 34-year-old. The shooter in 2009 had a 34 life number. 34 is a number associated with murder. These are stories of murder. They said this shooting went from 4 to 408. 48 dropped the 0 is another number we see a lot. Hoax and propaganda equal 48. So does the shooter's full name in Pythagorean gematria, Ivan Lopez. Said he used a 45. This past weekend there was a shooting of a black man in Los Angeles where they photoshopped a 45 into his hand. His first and last name having 45 gematria, they said they shot him 33 times. Hoaxalicious. Remember, in the Army Field Manual, it's Rule 33-1 that is the PSYOPs program that's waged against the American public for the purpose of strategic military propaganda.